Hi, I'm talking about The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. This is a novel that follows main character Don Tillman, who is in his 30s, and he's decided that at this point in his life, he is ready to find himself a wife. He is also on the autism spectrum, so he doesn't know as much about human interaction and relationships and nuances of conversation. He's made his living as a scientist and is very methodical and very good at what he does. But he's decided that he's ready to try to have a relationship, not really knowing where to start. So because of his analytical mind, he decides that he is going to create a questionnaire and spreadsheet and trying to figure out and find himself a partner. While he's doing this, he has a colleague who he also considers a friend that's kind of helping him along through this. And he meets this woman named Rosie, hence the title here, The Rosie Project. So they meet in different circumstances. He doesn't consider her to be a good partner for him. But then the story goes on. They get to know each other a little bit better. She learns, about his personality. He is trying to learn about relationships and interactions and all of that. And it's just really well written in a humorous way. So it's fun to read. It gives you some insight into the autism spectrum and just has a nice story of the two of them and a budding relationship. So the part I want to read is towards the beginning when Rosie first comes over to Don's apartment. Wow, Mr. Neat. How come there are no pictures on the walls? I had not had visitors since Daphne moved out of the building. I knew that I had only put up an extra plate and cutlery, but it had already been a stressful evening, and the adrenaline-induced euphoria that had immediately followed the jacket incident had evaporated, at least on my part. Rosie seemed to be in a permanently manic state. We were in the living area which adjoins the kitchen, because after a while I would stop noticing them. The human brain is wired to focus on differences in its environment, so it can rapidly discern a predator. If I installed pictures or other decorative objects, I would notice them for a few days, and then my brain would ignore them. If I want to see art, I go to the gallery. The paintings there are of a higher quality, and the total expenditure over time is less than the purchase price of cheap posters. In fact, I had not been to an art gallery since the 10th of May 3 years before, but this information would weaken my argument, and I saw no reason to share it with Rosie and open up other aspects of my personal life to interrogation. Rosie had moved on and was now examining my CD collection. The investigation was becoming annoying. Dinner was already late. "You really love Bach," she said. This was a reasonable deduction, as my CD collection consists only of the works of that composer, but it was not correct. I decided to focus on Bach after reading Gödel, Escher, Bach by Douglas Hofstadter. Unfortunately, I haven't made much progress. I don't think my brain works fast enough to decode the patterns in the music. "You don't listen to it for fun?" This was beginning to sound like the initial dinner conversations with Daphne that I didn't answer. "You've got an iPhone?" she said. "Of course, but I don't use it for music. I download podcasts. Let me guess. On genetics? Science in general." So that is The Rosie Project, a great book if you're looking for something lighthearted and fun and witty. It's a nice read.